Hi, everyone, and welcome to class. Hi, Becky. How are you doing today?
Hi, Rachel. Hi, friends. Hi, everyone.
Yes. Hello, everybody on both Becky's channel and the Sam's Bead Shop channel. We're coming to you both today to give you some holiday inspiration. What are we going to make today, Becky? Please tell us.
We're going to make some really quick and fancier than they really are kind of pendants. The ones that they look more complicated than they actually are. They're very easy to make, in my opinion. And you don't have to be an expert at wire wrapping to be able to make these. So we're going to make a couple of these using some of the gorgeous, gorgeous gemstones that you have at Sam's Bead Shop. I hope you've got links to where people can find these.
Yeah, the whole idea with this is part of our Merry Maker series. And so we wanted to help you guys come up with gift ideas, for folks on your lists. But we know that sometimes that can be a long list. There's a lot of people to make for. And so we didn't want hard projects. We wanted things that just were pretty simple, but made an impact. And I think these totally do.
Yeah.
They're great.
And so these ones I used all gemstones for them. I used the Amazonite and the mixed moonstone. That's this gorgeous peachy one that has little sparkles in it. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera or not, but
I see it. Yeah.
It's really, really pretty. So I use that for these two. And then for the one that I'm going to demonstrate with y'all, there's some Czech glass and candy jade. I love these colors. These are just like my colors.
Yeah. Is that your combo, blue and pink?
This pink is it's me.
Yeah.
And then we've got like this gorgeous lapis pendant that we'll be wrapping, and this quartz pendant, and that's what we're going to do with that. So I'm going to show how to do these.
Perfect. Right. Let me make your screen bigger.
And all these too.
Okay. You are taking up most of the screen now. So if you want to get us started.
Let's show off these findings before we get started, though, because we've got these beautiful like hammer tone bails, some hammer tone bead caps that we're going to use with our pipe chain, and some matching hooks. And they're like all these tiara cast ones that you've got in the shop. Yeah. And then a couple of these, they're the end caps that are also in there. I think that's the white bronze color. And it just goes
antique silver. Those ones are antique silver. We're mixing matching.
Nice. And then just these sweet little flower drops. Yeah. That's going to be an accent on this design.
Wonderful.
So all those little bits and bobs. And then we've got the pipe chain, which is rubber tubing with a fine gauge wire as a little sweater around it. And it's going to make it easier for stringing because, like with this one, I just did pipe chain for most of the necklace. Again, it makes it a fast and easy project to do that. And then for this one, we did just a short bit of pipe chain to add to the design. And then just some beaded chain links that were connected with these oval jump rings that we've got there. So that's the idea behind the designs.
Wonderful.
Move a couple of these out of the way so that they're not confusing the camera.
Yeah. So as everyone saw, we're playing with a couple of different gemstone focal shapes. That way, like hopefully this is easier for you to make it your own version. So we have the coin bead is a through drilled bead. So this will give you an idea for when you have something that's through drilled. And then we also have the lapis as a front drilled bead. So I hope this helps to see how you can make pendants when the focal is drilled in different ways.
And this is actually like something that I like to do with coin shaped beads is just kind of make a little halo around them using some wire. And you can do it with some of these larger type beads like these heishis that are Amazonite, or I'm going to use some of these smaller ones to make a little halo. These tiny Czech glass beads. And it's just a fun little way to dress them up without having to do a lot of like bead weaving or anything like that. So let me grab the wire that I'm using. and the tools, and we'll go over those too. For this pendant design, I'm going to use 24 gauge wire. And I'm choosing 24 gauge because I don't want to use a wire that I can't fit 2 passes of through the hole on that bead. I want to be able to fit, without forcing it, 2 passes of that wire. So 24 gauge is what I'm using for that. For the other one, I'm going to be using 20 gauge because it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit sturdier, but for this design, the 24 gauge is going to be what you're wanting to use. And then for tools, I have some chain nose pliers, and sometimes you might want 2 chain nose pliers when you're doing wire wrapping. Sometimes I just use my fingers though, instead of doing that sort of thing. And then I've got some round nose pliers. I'm probably going to be using round nose pliers for the majority of this, but I do also have some bail making pliers in case I need them. I'm probably not going to use them though, since I have this great bail that I'm going to be wrapping it onto. So let's get this started. For how much wire you're going to want, and I'm just warming it up with my fingers and straightening it out with my fingers before I start. I prefer to use my fingers to straighten out wire because using the like nylon jaw pliers it straightens it, but it can also sometimes work hard in it. And especially with this smaller gauge wire, sometimes it ends up being a little bit brittle. So I'm going to pull off about, I'm overestimating, about 14 inches, 12 to 14 inches will probably do, yeah. And let me grab pliers, my snippers. These are actually double flush cutters. They cut both sides flush at the same time.
Oh my gosh, how have I never tried those? I need to get some of those.
They're Zuron. They're right there.
Okay, I'm buying those. That's so cool.
They are super useful. Heather Aston sent them to me. She was like, "You're gonna love these," and she was right. She's actually moderating my channel right now, so everybody give a round of applause to Heather if you are watching. She's a fantastic person.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you, Jessie, too.
Yay! All right, so this is the quick and dirty way of figuring out how many beads will go around it. You take it while it's still strung and just wrap it around, and where it meets, that's how many beads you're going to string. And I will measure it again once I've got them on my wire. Well, this part's the mostly easy part. I'm just going to take my wire and kind of hold it in a U shape and string them on so they end up sort of in the middle there. I'm not making any bends on it. I just want to make sure that it doesn't come off the wire while I'm working on it. So I'm holding on to the other end. Because this is something that I've done on a smaller scale with other types of coin-shaped beads, like for earrings and that sort of thing. So for some of you who've seen some of my things, this might be a little bit familiar. But we're
making it bigger. We're making it even more special.
I love this giant quartz coin. It is such a great way to like add some pizzazz to this.
Oh yeah, we're not hiding the gemstones today at all.
They're front and center. But yeah, I am all about, especially this time of year, making things easy on yourself. We have so much to deal with.
Yeah, it is a busy time of the year. It's a special time of year, but also very busy.
It is it's magic, right? But like somebody has to make that magic, and very often it's going to be us making that magic. Yeah, that's work.
I know. And part of that is getting all the gifts together, and I kind of hope with jewelry making, if you make gifts that are part of your hobby, then hopefully it helps you enjoy the process of all the things you have to get done.
Right. Okay. So this is where I'm measuring it again to make sure that it's going to be the right size. Pressing this down so it doesn't go slip under it. So my fingers are going to be a little bit in the way. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure that this will fit around and not be too loose around it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it is maybe one too many. So there was just a little too much overlap. I took off one bead. I'm just crossing the wire and then making sure that these fit. I think that's right. It's right here where the wire crosses. This is, again, super simple, easy. Where the wire crosses, I am going to just give it a little twist. And it's not round right now because it's very malleable. It'll get round when I finish it. But now that I've got like 2 twists in here, I'm going to put these 2 ends together and put it right on my coin bead. It's sitting there like that. I'm going to take one of these and kind of bend it a little bit because I want it to go through this loop when I bend the loop up. Just one of them.
I feel like you're doing a magic trick right now. This is amazing.
Right? Right? And now I bring both of these together again and it's wrapped.
Sweet. So what happened to the one you brought through? Is it...
I bent it over, so it's both of these wires are on either side of this. I've got one on this side, one on that side, and it just locks it into place.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about like where that's going, and the coin bead is completely surrounded by all of these beautiful Czech glass beads.
Oh, I love that trick. So yeah, they're locked on at both the top and the bottom. That's great.
Yep. And I'm just gonna sort of move these right here. I'm going to do another twist. It doesn't need to be a big twist. And then bring them back together again. And now I'm going to grab some other beads and I'm going to make it fancy up on top like I did with this one. So I'm thinking this one and then the pink one because I just did 2 beads on this. They're smaller beads, but that's totally fine.
Yeah, it's helpful to see like it's really nice to see in the same technique, but with just different beads because it really shows that you can use what you've got. So like you can, if it's more these like 3.5 millimeter English cuts, kind of a smaller bead, or the heat sheets we use. I have the measurements. Those were those are 2 by 6.5 millimeters. So you can go big or small.
But like, what if somebody goes to Sam's Bead Shop and like these are sold out, but they've got another type of bead that's maybe a different shape or something, similar color, or even just a little bit bigger, like these. So
I love a flexible design. There's not a lot of measurements here. That's great.
Exactly. That's why I'm the cheat code for getting it to fit right is just while it's still on the strand, put it around there and then measure it again. It's such a really easy way of doing it. It's one of my favorite ways of doing things with a coin bead. So this wire is a little bit kinked, so I'm just going to straighten it out a little bit more with my fingers before I put that Czech glass bead on there because I want it to be able to fit on there. But again, I don't want to force it. So let's get both these strands down there. All right. So there's some space here between there. That's perfectly fine because we're going to wrap down there after this. And then I'm going to put on this pink one. And then I'm going to attach the bail. Where's my round nose pliers? All right. I'm just grabbing my round nose pliers. I'm going to bend it back and rotate this and pull it forward. And then bring it around to make a little loop. Like that. And I'm just using both wires together like it's a single wire at this point. And then we'll just slide our bail on. And hold this loop. I'm going to start wrapping around this wire with both of these together. And this is one of those like techniques that once you do it a couple of times or once or twice, you're like, this is so simple. But before you do it, you're like, oh, that looks like some wire wrapping thing that I don't know how to do. I'm just bringing it in front of the bead and then holding onto the bead and the wire while I bring it between them. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to bring it around the front and then hold with my thumb against that wire and bring it down around here. And now this one I had some extra wire on it, so I just did some swirls. But for this one, I'm going to let this kind of speak for itself, and I'm just going to wrap this a couple more times. I'm not going to worry about swirls on it. I've got some extra wire here. Put that off and tuck it in.
Oh my gosh.
I have
that is gorgeous.
All right. Should I make the second pendant and then we can worry about stringing after?
I love that idea.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Great.
Yeah, let's do that. So that's pendant number 1. Let's get our second guy out here. This is going to be another pretty easy one.
So you said we used 24 gauge wire for the first project, right?
That is correct. This is 24 gauge wire.
Perfect.
And it's a good thing I used it too, because 22 would definitely not have fit twice through the Czech glass beads. I love it.
Me too.
My little guy. All right. So now we've got a teardrop pendant with a little drill up on the top. And I'm going to be using some 20 gauge wire for that. I'm just going to pull off. Again, I'm just warming it with my fingers. And the way I straighten it with my fingers is I kind of bend it against one of my fingers and then bend it back the other way like that. And let's get about maybe 8 inches, something like that. All right, and for this, I'm not going to be starting at the center. I'm going to be starting about a quarter of the way from one of the ends. And I'm going to use my pliers and make a right angle bend, like that. I'm going to set my lapis. Which side do I want on the front? I think I like this side on the front.
So which side is your front? Are you choosing as the front?
This side, this one's got a little bit of a cloudy bit right there, which can be really cool, but I want the lines going down the front.
Yeah. Okay, so the shorter side of the wire should stick out the front.
Yep, shorter side sticks out the front. The longer side sticks out the back. I'm just going to bring this so that it's about parallel with the edge. I'll just give myself a teeny tiny little bend in that wire. Just the slightest little bend. And then here on this side, where's my, there it is. This is the little charm that I was going to add to the front. Because, let me get my example. The charm is just wrapped right into my wrap. So now that I've got that sticking up, I'm going to put my charm right on it. And then very gently, just with the top of my finger, bend it to where it crosses that over, just like that. That way there's some room and movement for this to swing, and it's not tight up against there. It's just crossing over right there. It was a simple movement. You don't need to manhandle the wire. Just bend it over gently. And I'm going to grab where that's crossing and pull that wire around. This is the part where if you wanted to use a second set of pliers to do your wrap, you can do that. And I'm only going to do a couple of wraps because I'm going to be coming back down here because we're going to do the wrapping around the beads thing. I'm going to have some wire down here at the end that is going to need to wrap around that another time. And now I get to add some more beads on top of here. I think what we're going to do is pink, blue, pink.
Yeah, what are you going to pick? I want to see.
I think I'm going to stack them like this. Let me get a really dark pink and a really, because there's some light pinks and the dark pinks, and I love the variation. But here we go. Nice bright pinks like that. Because this one, again, I used larger beads for it because they're big and chunky. And this one, they're small ones. But it'll be the same basic design. It'll just look a little bit different.
So yeah, maybe the person you're making it for likes things a little more delicate, a little smaller. This way, just if you change the beads around it, it'll have a much different impact.
Exactly. And sometimes more is more, and sometimes less is more.
Yeah. That's the thing with all these like design rules is like it works when you follow them, and then it also works when you break them. Like there's benefits to both.
All right, I'm gonna leave myself some healthy amount of space up here because when I'm wrapping these beads, I'm gonna want my wire to fit between them. So I'm just gonna grab it with my pliers and move it. Usually when I do my bend for a wrapped loop, I'll hold it close to the end of these wires. I'm gonna move it about the middle of that, just to give me more space underneath there for between these beads for them to move along. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do another wrapped loop to attach it to this bail. So I've got my round nose pliers, bring it around, then rotate my pliers so that I can bring it all the way around. And it's crossing in the back. And this is 20 gauge wire, so I'm going to open it up a little bit. With the 24, I didn't really have to. It just popped right on there. But with this, I can open and close it. And I'm going to do about 2 wraps here with my tail. And then before I come around for my next pass, let's get it behind there. There we go, behind. So I've got lots of room right here for my beads. I'm going to push this one up in the way and do the same thing I did with the other, where I hold the bead and I hold the wire, just pinched right in my fingers. And I'm going to bring it around like that. I'm going to hold the bead and the wire, bring this one around like that. And then this one I can hold the bead and the wire, bring it around the front. And just wrap down here around the previous wraps.
And that uses up all that free space. That's amazing.
You just leave yourself some space, then
you just have more room to decorate with. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's cut off the excess, tuck in my end, and now I've got my second pendant done.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful set.
All right, so we have time for stringing, right?
Oh yeah, we do, absolutely.
Amazing, let's do this. All right, let's do the super easy one, which is going to be this one, and then we can start making links, I guess. I should have made links before we started this, but
we'll give a quick demo of that one.
Right. I'll do at least this bar section on camera and then maybe make some links later if we don't have time. But yeah. Which one I'm gonna have on for which design? Because they're interchangeable. I could do this one on this style or this one. I think either
decide. I don't know.
This is you know what I'm gonna do?
That matches the English cut so perfectly.
I think I'm gonna do this one for the long, just all of this for this one.
I like that idea. Yeah, because it matches so well.
It does.
So it's nice to use the color.
It does. It matches so well. All right. I'm just going to take this and really what I did was that for the other one was kind of like hold it up to my neck and give myself about an inch of leeway and then cut off the other bit. And this is the bit that I used for that one.
And when you say, sorry, so you're making something about an inch shorter or longer? What were you saying there?
So from the end of this pipe chain to where I'm going to cut it, I just held it up to my neck.
Oh, wait, let me add you back on. Okay, yeah. Show us what you're doing. Perfect.
Because I prefer shorter necklaces.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell with this one. And so I'm giving it about to there. That's where I want it. And then about an inch shorter from there for clasps and stuff.
Got it.
And cut that. I could do this whole length, but then I wouldn't have stuff to use for the other one. Unless I went into my pipe chain stash, which I have an extensive pipe chain stash, so we're not going to talk about
it. For folks who have not checked out Becky's channel, please do. She just has so many amazing tutorials. Definitely a lot with pipe chains. But I also love that you use a lot of different mediums. Like you do stuff with wire work and bead weaving. Like you play with all of it. And I think that is just so cool.
I do. I don't know if it's like the need to be like a jack of all trades with it, but I get interested in things. I'm like, this is a rabbit hole I will go down. Yes. I absolutely will.
Yeah, and don't stop yourself.
There's a lot of things that if you only have a hammer, everything is a nail, right? And so, you know, a lot of times if you do bead weaving and just bead weaving, then when you look at some beads, you're thinking about just how you can maybe do a bead woven bail or something like that, which is fun. Actually, it's a fun thing to do. But if you've got wire and you know how to do that, you can do that too. And I like being able to like combine things like the SilverSilk and these beads and actually do bead weaving on the SilverSilk. It's a really great platform for that sort of thing. So, all right, let's get some beading wire. Blue lapis. I think that'll work. Because the great thing about the pipe chain is it has a hollow core. So you can just string beading wire or craft wire or memory wire through it. And it's like a really, really, really long bead.
So you've got, it looks like some medium-sized soft flex going through there.
Medium-sized soft flex, and using this as the necklace means it's going to go pretty quick for us to add that. I'm going to put the bail on pipe chain before I do any of the other stuff. Now that I've got the wire through, I can put on these bead caps. I'm using these ones for this design because it's going to be in the back of the neck, and I wanted to save these hammer tone ones for the one that's going to be front and center. But these keep the little bits of wire on here from poking into your skin while you're wearing it. And it looks nice and finished.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of adding those. These are the ones that we carry at Sam's Bead Shop. We call them the open cord ends since they have that opening of the little hole in them. And then you can also get some of the official ones from the SilverSilk and More website if you want to get those as well. So there's some good options out there.
The official ones are a little bit shorter, and I've actually found things like this like on the internet, and none of them fit the pipe chain as well as yours or the SilverSilk ones. So like those are my two choices: is yours or the SilverSilk ones.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, like other types, they don't work as well. So I think what I'm going to do on this is I'm just going to decorate the ends a little bit more because I've got this space here by adding another Czech glass bead. I love this rose cut. That is just so pretty.
Yeah, it's a really unique faceting detail. I like it too.
I don't know if y'all saw, it's got, come on, focus, there we go. It's got like a little rose shape on the faceting on either side. And faceting around the middle too. They're really cool. All right, so now that I've got these beads on that end, I can crimp it. Let me get these guys on here so that I don't forget later, because I'll forget. And then somebody will have to yell at me, but I can't hear. Boom, 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 crimpers. All right, I am a big fan of the magical crimper. I am not great at crimping with other methods, so I'm gonna be doing that today. Going to make a loop, and then we'll use the jump rings to attach the clasps, and it'll be done. All right, so I just bent that back, put it through the crimp. Move the crimp up there. And if you've never seen, I don't know if everyone in the audience has seen this before, the magical crimper. There's just this little concavity in here. And if you center the crimp in it, it pinches down just the corners. And then when you turn it to the side, it makes it look like a mangled mess. And then if you just keep going from different angles, it will smooth out all of that mangled mess. And it'll smooth out those corners. And you'll be left with a little ball of crimp. Super easy.
That's helpful to see you do it. We have those in the shop, but I know a lot of people haven't tried them, so that's helpful to see.
Yeah, it's good to practice with it. You know, the more you do, the better you get at it. And you can sort of get to the point where you can like feel when it gets good, because it's going to feel weird for a couple of times while you're doing it. And like I wanted to make sure people could see like that first squeeze. It sort of looked a little like a mangled mess after the second one. But if you keep going, usually it clears it up. So I'm going to do the other end. And I like to leave a little bit of space between that bead and the crimp so that the crimper can fit around it. I'll usually use my fingernail to make that space, because you want it to be able to be centered on it. All right. I've got some jump rings, and these are those oval jump rings that you have in your Tiara cast one, the 3x4. I love oval jump rings because they are a little more secure than round ones.
Yeah, I agree. I love them too. And they almost look more like a chain to me when I use a few of them together.
All right. So that one's pretty wide open. I just kind of opened it so it wouldn't be connected to its little friend. I'm gonna just put my little loop on one end. And I have a bunch of these. I know you sent me some for the class, but I have a bunch in my stash of this type of clasp because I love them.
You already had them?
Yes. Sometimes I don't know my own strength and things slip out of my grasp. It's fine. All right, so that one's closed. Let's do the other one. All right, since I had already opened the other one, let's demonstrate opening on this one. You want to hold one end and then just twist it open with the other plier. Add that.
I'm also just noticing that you're wearing a bracelet using the Broadway bound box. That is so cool. I love that.
I just did a tutorial with different ways of making adjustable size bracelets, and this was my demonstration for using this type of clasp. Was using some of these fantastic beads from the Sam's bead box.
Wow, I feel like you are just full of tricks, and I'm gonna check out that video. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's one of my more recent ones. I was like, you know what, let's bring some Sam's Bead Shop things on here so people can look at it.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so this one's done.
Fabulous.
It is ready,
wonderful.
Ready to have some earrings made to go with it.
Those colors just feel so cheery and happy, and I love that.
They are. I love them too. But we'll set this aside for now and then move these guys
and of
over.
course, you can make these in whatever color palette you would like. We mentioned it earlier, but especially if this is for a gift, you can think about, does this person like warm tones? Do they like cool tones? What's their favorite gemstone? Like, use that to guide you as you're coming up with your own design.
Absolutely. So we're going to be putting these on either side of here, and I think I want these also on either side for a little bar necklace sort of thing as a link. And for this, I'm going to go grab that 20 gauge wire again. And I don't need a lot of it, but I need about 2 inches more on each side, so about 4 inches more than the length that this is going to be, because I'm going to do wrapped loops on either side. And once again, I'm warming it off before I cut it off. Getting those kinks out. So let's get the pipe chain on the wire. And then these cone ends on either end. Okay. But before I put the second one on, I am going to slip this one on because these cone ends will keep it from sliding off once everything is all together. All right. Honestly, if I was smart, I would have done a wrapped loop before I put this on there. So I'm going to do that now.
All right, perfect.
Planning. All right, so I'm just going to bend that back about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the end. Bring this around the front, rotate it, and keep it going to make a little loop with wearing a fancy scarf blowing in the wind. And then we're just going to wrap the scarf around the guy right there. Doesn't need to be a ton, about 3 times will do. Now I'm going to stack these guys on here. I want one of these on the ends because I love the pink. And then the cone, SilverSilk, the pendant goes onto the SilverSilk like that. This cone, I want the open ends of the cones to face towards the SilverSilk. And then this bead, and I'm going to make a wrap loop on the other side. I'm going to try to make sure my wrap loops are parallel. I can always adjust it afterwards if I need to. This is where I was saying usually when I do my wrap loops, I'll hold it close to the end of this, just to give me enough room for wrapping, but not too much room. Let me pull it around here. And we'll wrap that loop. This will be like the main focal segment of this necklace. And then for the rest of it, I was just going to do some wrap loop links and then join them together with more of those jump rings. All right, so for this, because there's going to be gravity, there we go, pulling on this, I like to sort of assist it and direct that curve the way I want it to be. Just put my fingers on and curve it up a little bit on its own. Mm-hmm. That way it knows where to go and how to do that, because it's going to pull on it, and that's fine, but it's not going to pull on it that much if it's already got that curve. Okay, now
I think, do you want to maybe just make 2 links and attach them to each side? That kind of gives everyone a taste of how that works.
I think that is a fantastic 2 links for each side.
Or 1 link on each side?
Okay, yes. I've got that one there. Let's do, you know what? I can do a link like this, where I put that kind of link. I think that'll look good.
Sounds good to me.
All right. I like to work from the spool when I make links. So I'm going to grab my 20-gauge wire again. You can use 22 if you want. It's fine. But I put these on in the order that they're going to be, because I usually will make several links at the same time. Making links is one of those like meditative practices for me. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like making a loop and making a loop and making a loop. It can be fun like that. So if I'm making a bunch of links at the same time, I'll start here on the end, make a wrapped loop. Don't think you need me to walk through making a wrapped loop again. I just did one. Wrap it around. And then the reason I like to work off the spool is so that I don't have to estimate how much wire I need for my second loop. I can just push the beads up to that first loop, then about 3 fingers down. Hold on, let me get my, I like using.
Oh, okay. So I was confused when you were adding so many beads to to the spool, but that's because you added, like, there's even more still on that spool ready for your next one.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. All right, this is like our 5th trick today. This is
when I'm doing multiple links, I will string like 10 different groups of beads on there, just so that I can do this without having to pick up the beads and put them on there, and then do all this. I can kind of production line sort of thing,
this is the hack that we all needed to know. Okay, so you just pre-string all the beads you'll need for your link. So as long as you've designed it already, then if they've already, you string them all up at the beginning, and then you just pull down what you need. Okay, I love this.
3 fingers down from the bottom, you hold that, and then you can make your second link. And sometimes with the wrap loops, you can just connect them as you go. like leave one end open and then connect them. But I'm going to be using jump rings, so I'm going to go ahead and close them both ends. Wrapping that little bit there. And this one. And just like with the other, I'm going to leave enough room for wrapping. Right. Yeah, all the tips for doing things quick, making it easy on yourself. You can wrap as you go, or it does make it a lot easier when you put things together to just use some jump rings.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You ever just have like all of your tools get caught on the spool of beading wire that you have next to your bead mat?
It's like it's become a little web pulling everything in.
Everything is catching on it. You're like, well, that was not planned well, was it?
Or I have to be careful when I'm using a magnetic clasp in my design, because that can kind of disappear because it attached to some other tool or some other thing.
Or there's always like a wrestling match between you and your pliers.
Yes.
and the magnet.
It's like, please go where I want you to go.
I'm the boss of you, but not really.
Yeah, I know. I wish.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the boss of the beads, and sometimes the beads are my boss.
Oh, yeah. It can go both ways.
But yeah, this should give you an idea of, once you've made enough links, you can just attach them all together using these jump rings.
Yeah, and you can then just show us what the back of the other one looks like, just so people.
The other one, super easy. You just keep going and then put these clasps on at the end of one of these links.
Yeah, so you can use a lobster clasp, a toggle, whatever kind of clasp you want.
Yeah, I actually, on this one, I made my own little clasp. Just with some of that wire, because I just wanted a little extra.
Yeah, then you could add some Amazonite back there.
Exactly, you can add more beads. You can be like, I'm just going to have myself some pretty beads back here. And that way
now we need like a red carpet. What am I trying to, like a fashion show? Would you lay out all your, move away the tools and lay out all the finished pieces?
Oh, yes. I'm moving the pieces off, but let's get these guys here.
What is it? It's our the big reveal.
Big reveal. Okay, so yeah, these were the ones that I made before. So let's get these on. And these are the ones that I made just now with y'all.
I think the ones that you made initially, I get like a very beachy boho vibe. Mm-hmm. Now I get that it's, in a way, it's still boho, but in like the very colorful, more like 60s retro feel. So like
this is Barbie Dream House. Like
exactly.
Venice Beach versus like Long Beach.
Yeah. And there it is. There's the big reveal, everyone, so that you can see all of the ways that you can use these techniques in your designs.
Right?
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, wait. I didn't want to make it that small. Let's try that again. There we go. Those are the designs. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I know I need to remind everyone that if you like any of the beads that you saw here today, you can pick them up from Sam's Bead Shop. So check out the description of this video for some links, and that's where you'll find if you want to get any of these gemstones or the findings from today, we have those available. And what if folks are going to head over to your channel, Beki, and subscribe, what kind of stuff can they expect? Especially like what's coming up?
What's coming up? Well, I mean, I've been doing just a few like easy projects like the last week or two. It's just been me focusing on easy projects.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do bead weaving projects because I get a little hair at the back of my tickle at the back of my head that says like, piece some of these 2-hole beads together like they're puzzle pieces and make it work. And then I have to do it. And so if I'm going to do that anyway, I may as well record part of it.
Yeah.
So I usually do recorded videos. I'm not as much of a going live kind of friend. I do like to visit my friends' channels and do lives with them. I have a lot of fun with that. And I'm so glad that I got to do that with you.
I know, finally. I feel like I've been like, just stalking your channel from a distance throughout this year, because like you always post amazing things using the bead box, and so I'm always like, what did Beki do this month? And so I'm always looking, and so I've been wanting to ask you to do a class with us, and I'm so glad I finally did, because I just learned so much today. Like, I'm so excited to try out all these different, even some of these little tips that I'm going to use in a totally different design. Like, these are going to stick with me. Yeah.
They're just little things that like, it makes it easier for me. So I love sharing things that made things easier for me with everybody else, because it just makes it like this necklace that I made. This was also Broadway bound.
Yeah.
It was really easy to make. It's just stringing and doing a little loop. That's all you do with it.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, well, I'm so happy we could do this. I hope there are more collabs we can do together in the future. That would make me so happy.
All you got to do is ask.
Yeah. All right, cool. So this was actually day 1 of the Merry Maker series. We had 2 classes today. We still have 8 more this month. So come back and join us on Wednesday and throughout December for lots of classes with so many friends. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to those. I saw the list of everybody else that's going to be here, and I was so excited.
Yeah, it is such a good lineup. It's going to be great. Yes. Well, this has been a wonderful class. I hope everyone is inspired. If you make with these pieces today, make sure to head over to our Facebook group, Gem Chat, and post pictures. We want to see what you did, whether you used these beads or you used others from your stash. Just show us what you made. We want to know. We'd love to see. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, thank you again, Beki. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Rachel. And thanks to everybody who came out to the live. Love you so much. Thanks for visiting.
We appreciate it. All right. Bye, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Happy holidays.